talking about last night during the live stream, that some of you feel that trading is a competition, that we are in one village competition, and it is the person that uses the highest leverage that is making the most profit. We have said this thing here before, that if I use a 100x leverage and you use a 10x leverage, and we are using the same position size, very, very important. Okay, you need to understand what position sizing is. If we use the same position size, I will lose the same amount of money as you, and I will make the same amount of money as you. If you use 100x leverage and I use 10x leverage and we use the same position size, our profit and losses will be the same. But the only difference is that why that same money you lose or that same money you make, the P&L will be showing 1000%. My own will be showing 100%, right? My own will be showing 100%. This is where a lot of us get it wrong when it comes to position sizing. And that is why we get burnt very early, or we blow our account and the rest. Now, when you go to the exchange, for instance, on Bybit, if I do a 1x leverage, no issue. I do a 2x leverage, no issue. But on this token, Bybit allows me to go up to 20x leverage. Oh. They are the ones that have put it here. If I go to 3x leverage, no issue. I go to 4x leverage, no issue. Let's do 5x, no issue. Let's do 10x, no complaint. If I increase it now to, even at 16x leverage, no complaint. Okay, even at 18, no complaint, 19, no complaint. But once you hit 20x leverage, what is the exchange saying? Okay, the current leverage is too high. They are the ones telling you that the current leverage is too high. You will get out of the market, the same way to give you profit faster is the same way to give you profit, to take money away from you faster. But here is the thing. If you trade, I heard Priceless calculating that if you use a good risk to reward ratio, and let's say you have $10 and you're entering a trade with just $1, let's say for every trade, you want to risk $1 to make $10. Okay? So for every trade you enter, you have decided that in each trade, I will enter with a 10x leverage. And I want to enter this trade out of my $10 capital. I want to enter this trade with $1. So for you to lose your account completely as a good trader, for you to lose your account completely, it means that you need to have up to 10 losses for you to lose that account completely. You need to have up to 10 losses for you to lose the account completely. Now, the tokens you trade equally matters. If I come to TradingView, for instance, and I'm looking for a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio with my $10 capital, this trade right here is a 1 to 2.5. Maybe my stop loss is too big. I can reduce my stop loss. And this will give me about, let's say we're looking for a 1 to 3. Okay, let's do a 1 to 3 on the dot, somewhere around there, right? It means that I'll be risking, if I enter this trade with $1, okay, and I'm doing stop loss at 40%, at 4% with a 10x leverage, that will be 40%, right? And I want to TP at 12% with a 10x leverage, that's the 120%. So what this means is that if I enter this trade with $1, right, I will lose, if the market go against me, okay, I will lose 40 cents of that money. And if it goes in my favor, I'll be making about $1 plus, right? I'll be making about $1 plus. Now, it is not all token that will give you a risk reward ratio of 1 to 3, and the percentage ratio will be the same. Okay, let me give you an example. If I go and take, let's say, BTC, for instance, let's look for a 1 to 3 on BTC as well. If we go to BTC, for instance, and we're looking for a 1 to 3 right here, let me use a short example. Okay, and let's say we put our stop loss just below 1% or 1% on the dot, and we are looking for a 1 to 3. Okay, this is a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, right? So 1 to 3 will be somewhere around here, right? Now, this is a 1 to 3. Now, you look at this. I'll be risking about 0.9% to make about 3% or 2.7%, right? It is not every crypto asset that is the same. It is not every crypto asset that is the same. So it means I can decide to take BTC with a 100x leverage and then take the other token. Which token did I look at the first time? Take the other token with a 10x leverage. Now, when I do this, what if I said I want to trade, I want to just maintain the same margin in all trades, whether I'm using a 10x leverage or I'm using a 100x leverage? It means that you want to blow your account faster. So if it costs me $1, if I use $1 using a 10x leverage, it shouldn't be the same thing. I should not use up to $1 if I'm using a 100x leverage to maintain that same position size. Now, the general rule out there is that you should risk 1, okay, to 3% of your trading capital. 1 to 3% of your trading capital. Meaning, if I have $10,000, I should be using between $100 in a trade. It doesn't mean that you must use that $100 to enter the trade. I can enter a trade with $1,000. I can enter a trade with $2,000. But my stop loss should be that if this trade goes against me, my stop loss should be either $100 or $300 at most, right? $100 or $300 at most. So if you continue to do that, just calculate how many trades you will take or how many losing trades you will take if at every trade with a $10,000, at every trade you are losing $300. Just calculate it, do the math yourself. How many trades will you take to lose the complete $10,000, right? And if your risk reward ratio is always 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, it means that you can take 10 trades, okay? Take 10 trades, lose 7 of those trades, and win only 3 trades and still be a profitable trader. Your account will still be up more than what you started that journey with. So one thing you need to understand is position size. If my position size cost me $1 to enter a trade with a 10x leverage, okay? If I'm entering a trade with a 100x leverage, I should not use up to $1 as my margin. That is the only way you can be safe in this market, right? But if you observe all of these things, that is what makes you a trader. But if you just start playing around using high leverage today, tomorrow you use the whole of your capital, next tomorrow you use half of your capital, that is when gambling comes into the game, right? Which is why I always say, if you don't understand how to calculate this position size of a thing, please go to 𝗕𝗲𝗙 On the homepage there, we have created a calculator that does this for you automatically, right? This is called the position sizing calculator. So if you go to 𝗕𝗲𝗙 on the homepage there, you will see the position size calculator. So let's say your trading balance is $1,000, okay? So you go ahead and type $1,000 right there. And what is your stop loss? If I use this example right here, my stop loss is 0.9%. So I'll just say my stop loss for this is 1%. Okay, you type the number in percentage, right? And what do you want to risk? Out of this, my $1,000, I just want to risk, let's say, 3% of the capital. 3% of $1,000 is how much? That's $30, right? So I go ahead and put 3% right here. What's the leverage? Let me do with 10x leverage and I do with the 100x leverage and show you the difference, right? So I want to use 10x leverage and I go ahead and click on calculate. When you calculate, your required margin should be 300. If I decide to use a 100x leverage, look at what this stuff would do for me, okay? So it means that if this market goes against me, I'm losing $30, right? So now if I decide to use $100, a 100x leverage on this, I'll calculate it, right? Your margin, the required margin for this, okay, the required margin for this is what? Remember, with the 10x leverage, the required margin that we're entering the trade is what? $300. So the max loss is $30. So if the market goes against me, I'll lose $30, right? Now that I've increased the leverage to 100x leverage, what is my required margin to lose the same $30? My required margin for this will be what? $30, not 300. But look at the one that remains the same. The position size is the one that will remain the same. With a 10x leverage, the position size is the same, right? You can see here, position size is the same, $3,000. With a 100x leverage, position size is the same, $3,000. But what is changing here? My margin. This is the money I will enter this trade with. Okay? Now, it means that if I reduce it to $30 and the market goes against me, all right, I'm losing $30. If I use 10x leverage, I need to increase this to $300. So the higher the margin. Now, what if I decide to use 50x leverage? Okay? If I decide to use 50x leverage on this trade, the margin will increase, but the position size does what? Remains the same. So this is what you should do for yourself to keep yourself safe, right? Not that because you've seen somebody has printed a 1000% with a 10x leverage. You too, you go and run and print 1000%. It will not make any sense if you do that, right? It will not make any sense if you do that. So understand position sizing. And once you understand position sizing, you can decide to play around with leverage and use whatever amount of leverage that you feel that you want to use, right? I just decided to do this and to make it available for you. For those of you who don't understand yet, that is trading for you. But if you want to gamble around, you can decide to enter trade with the whole of your capital. You can decide to use 50x leverage in this trade and use 30x leverage in another trade, use 100x leverage in another trade. The exchange will allow it, but they will always cut you that warning. Okay, anything from 20x leverage up, they will tell you this thing is too much. Oh, if you lose your money, we are not responsible for it. So the choice is yours. If you want to use high leverage, use it. If you want to use low leverage, use it. But to get your peace of mind, guys, I would prefer to enter a trade with a 3, 4, 5x leverage, okay, using a bigger portion of my capital than to go and enter a trade. And then once the market just move up by just 1 pips, you're out of the market, right? You're out of the market. So with a lower leverage, you'll be at peace. The floating loss will not be too much. You know those things we call realized PNL. PNL is, profit and loss, right? There is both realized and then unrealized. That unrealized PNL that you're seeing, it is not your money, right? Now, if the floating loss on the PNL is very high, you'll be tempted to close the trade out of fear. And immediately you close the trade out of fear, you will come and see that, this market eventually went in my favor, right? You're out. And then if it is too high, maybe you just see a trade, you just see small money, and immediately you decide that, I want to close it, or let me wait, or greed, take a better part of you and say, let me wait until it gets to 1000%, whereas it has given you 100% and you refuse to secure profit. So because you are using a high leverage, it's just one candle, maybe 1% drop, 2% drop, it takes everything from you, right? And at the end of the day, you'll be crying and crying and crying. So with a 2, 3x leverage, you can play around here, and I recommend, in fact, what I recommend basically is 10x. Okay, 10x leverage can sustain you in this market. But if you are just starting out, okay, use 2, 3, 4, 5x leverage. There are times I take trades. For instance, if I decide to enter a trade right now and I want to use a margin of 1K, 2K, 3K, okay, I will reduce my leverage to 5x. I will reduce my leverage to 3x, depending on how volatile that token is. I just showed you how a 1 to 3 will give you 12% on a particular trade, and then how it should just give you just 2% on another trade or another token, right? A 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio can give me 100% on fat coin, right? Whereas on BTC is just giving me 30%. So these are some of the things you need to understand if you are trading crypto, and that will help you go a long way. I hope that is clear, right? I hope that is clear. I hope you've learned something. Okay. These are some paid, tutorials that you need to pay a whole lot of money for. Eh? Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Rich.com. Is that you? Where is this human being? Where have you been? All of you abandoned me, ba. When una make money, una go just disappear to thin air. Because you don't want me to send my wallet, you don't want me to send anything, you just disappear to thin air. Now you have come again, you want to come and siphon and disappear again. It is well, oh. It is well. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Okay, oh. No see you.